going to be doing a video all about how to bottle feed your baby, including everything that I use, how I sterilise the bottles, the prep machine, and also how to feed your baby when you're out and about. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Amy. I'm a mum of 3 and I have an almost 6-month-old, a 12-year-old and a 16-year-old. So I've been formula feeding for quite some time. So I just wanted to make this video because if you choose to formula feed from the beginning, it can be a little bit tricky to find all the information that you need. For those of us who have been unsuccessful in breastfeeding, or maybe we've just chosen to formula feed from the beginning, whatever the reason may be, I just wanted to make a video where we just get into it and I show you exactly what I do and tell you everything that I use, so that if you are a new parent or say you've breastfed before and now you need to formula feed, whatever it may be, then you have the information that you need in one easy place. So, sorry for any background noise, my little one is in the room with me, she's just playing with some toys. So I just thought I would make this video because obviously I've been formula feeding now for quite some time. You know, I've done it a while ago and I'm doing it now, and I just wanted to kind of share everything that I've done and how I've done it. So I was going to originally breastfeed my youngest, little Phoebe. So like I said, she's almost 6 months, but it didn't work out, which happens to many of us. But I just wanted to say no matter how you feed your baby, they're going to be fed, they're going to be happy, and really that's all that matters. So we're just going to get into things, guys. So I just have a few little things out on the counter just to kind of show you what I've been using and everything. So obviously the first thing you're pretty much going to need if you're going to bottle feed are actually bottles. So these little ones here, I wouldn't recommend getting the smaller ones. I mean, you can if you want to, and obviously usually if you buy like a feeding set, they come as part of a set, which is fine. But as soon as your baby is over 5 ounces, which will happen much faster than what you think, they're completely useless, to be honest. So if you can, just stick to the larger bottles, much better. So firstly, choosing the infant formula that you're going to be using. This is the Mamia. This is from Aldi. It's just as good as any other. This is one of the cheapest ones you can get. I think it's about £7 something. It's a really good one. I've used many different ones, to be honest. And this is awesome. I love it. Highly recommend this infant formula. So the first thing I wanted to say about infant formula, they pretty much all do the same thing, guys, to be honest. They're all regulated the same, and for example, Cow & Gate and Aptamil are actually made by the same company, even though they vary quite a bit in price. So please don't feel like you have to spend like double the amount you would on this one for another one. They all pretty much do the same thing. And then of course you will need, you know, your bottles, but like I said, get the big ones. These are the Tommee Tippee anti-colic ones. I mean, they're okay. It's a baby bottle. They all pretty much do the same thing, to be really honest. So you choose whichever ones you think work best. The only thing with these type of ones, like the anti-colic in most bottles, is there's a load of pieces and they are a pain in the arse to clean. I've got to be honest, they really are. So this was about £4 from Amazon, and it's basically like a little compartment thing. Now I like this because obviously you can use it for like different compartments of milk, so you could have up to 4 feeds at a time with you if you're going to be out for a very long day and your baby's quite young. But also, when they're toddlers, you can actually use it for like little snacks and things. So it's got multi-use, which I like. And this is just one I had free. This actually came with the Rapid Cool. So this is the Rapid Cool. This is what you would use to feed your baby out and about. Highly recommend it. It is very, very good. And then we have a flask. So this is like the basics of formula feeding things that you're going to need. Obviously, you're going to need more bottles than this. So I highly recommend getting about 6 bottles. And then you're going to need something to sterilise your bottles with. There's many different ways to sterilise. I do not recommend the electric steam sterilisers. They're a pain in the arse to clean. You have to descale them constantly and they're just annoying. Plus they take up a plug socket. So this is a microwave one. Or you can do like a cold water version, which I highly recommend doing as well, because obviously that's very portable. But I have this one, so I'm using it. And then we have the prep machine. Now prep machines weren't a thing when my oldest were little, but it's the first time I've used it and I highly recommend it. They're really, really good, and I've got to say it's a lifesaver, especially if you have other children and you are very busy, which we all pretty much are. So once you have your infant milk and you've chosen your bottles and everything, you have your sterilizer. It all comes with instructions on how to like clean it properly and all that thing. So that's not what this video is about. This video is about just what you need and how to do it. So the most asked question is how to formula feed a baby on the go if you're not going to be buying like ready-made. Obviously you can get ready-made formula, But if you use that every single time, it's going to be very expensive. So another thing I just wanted to mention about the Aldi formula, they don't do ready-made little cartons of the Aldi formula. But don't worry. So if you are using the Aldi formula and you're out and about and you haven't bought, you basically get caught out and you haven't got the powder with you, you can use other formula that doesn't, isn't the same as the one you've got in the house, for example. So if I was using so Cow and Gate, for example, and then I was out somewhere and there was only like one shop and they only had like Aptamil for whatever reason, unless you know your baby has an allergy or something, you can like mix the formula, if that makes sense, if you need to. Obviously, it isn't recommended you do that, but if you do, nothing bad is going to happen to your baby. So please don't panic about that. Like I said, I would always recommend having, even if it is like one small one like this, I would always recommend just having one in your changing bag, even if you're going out for 5 minutes. That way you've always got it with you. But we all get caught out, so please don't panic. If you are caught out, you can buy like a ready-made tub of like Cow and Gate, for example. And that is completely safe and fine to feed your little one, unless you know they have an allergy or if they're a premature baby. So in order to feed your baby when you're out, first you obviously need to take up the powder with you, however many ounces it is. So for example, if your baby takes 4 ounces, you just pop 4 ounces into one of these little tubs. And then obviously you need your Rapid Cool flask. And then you would need a flask of hot water. So this is not a flask of kettle water that's cooled down. This is kettle water just boiled that is still piping hot and put straight into your flask. Now it can be any flask you want, guys, as long as it keeps things very, very hot or very cold, which, all of these insulated flasks will. And then obviously you need a clean bottle. So you would have all of this with you. And then what you would do when you're out, when you know your baby is ready for his or her feed, you would put the powder first into the Rapid Cool. So you pour your powder in, then you would pour in your hot water, and then basically you just shake this flask up, and then it has like a little thing on the top. Now, there's no milk in there. I'm not going to make it up because obviously it'll just be wasting milk, but this would actually be like an amber colour, and that means it is not ready yet. So then you just keep shaking it, and then when you tap it again, when it goes green, then you know it's ready for your baby to drink. And it does 100% work. It's always right, guys. Obviously, test it every time, which is what I do, but it is ready to drink straight away once it's green. So that is what you do when you're out. Now, if you don't have this, or like I said, if you've forgotten your milk powder, then you can just buy like one of those little ready-mades, and it doesn't necessarily have to be the exact make that you have in the house. Obviously, ideally, that's what you want to do. But if you are in a pinch and you need to buy, like, I don't know, Aptamil instead of Cow and Gate, then please don't feel bad about that. That's completely fine. So that is kind of like what you would need to take with you when you're out and about. So each tin of baby milk has all the instructions that you need, and it literally tells you exactly how to make up the bottle. But each of the tins has like a little scoopy thing inside it, which I actually have a spare of. Let me show you. So it has like one of these little scoops in it, and then you just use 1 ounce of water per scoop, and that's how you make it up. Now obviously if you're in America, I think like the scoops and the way they do things is a little bit different. So that might be slightly different, because if you look at some of these bottles, they have like UK and US on them. So I think they use like mils instead of ounces. But always read the information. It all comes on the back of the tin, because each like tin is slightly different per age. So let me just go in quite, you can kind of see how much you need to give them per many hours. And it has all the information on how to like make it up and everything. So don't worry about that. That is something that you just get used to when you bring home your baby if you are a new parent, and eventually you get used to it and it becomes completely normal. So don't panic about that. So obviously then you would, make sure all your bottles are sterilised and everything. Now moving on to the prep machine. What I would say about the prep machine is it works really well, obviously, if you follow the instructions from Tommee Tippee. So you obviously have to like descale it, clean it regularly. But I would basically call this the coffee machine for bottles. But it is very good. The only thing is, with the prep machine, it starts at 4 ounces, and most little ones will start at about 1 or 2 when they're first born. So you do have that issue. So what you could do is either separate it into 2 bottles, put one in the fridge if you're comfortable doing that. Okay, sorry about that. Another interruption. What can I say? This is real life and Babas need attention. So now I'm holding her while speaking to you. So I do apologise if you hear any background noise because she's like right by her. But yeah, I mean, that is pretty much the equipment you're going to need. Like I said, about 6 bottles, your formula, your Rapid Cool flour, and another flask obviously to keep your hot water in as well. But if you don't have the Rapid Cool or you don't want to buy it, then what you could do is take out a flask of hot water and a flask of cool boiled water and then make it up that way. So say for example your baby takes like 3 or 4 ounces, you would put like you put the baby milk into the bottle first, then the hot water to kill the germs and bacteria, and then the cold one to top it up to the amount of ounces you need, and you can do it that way. Also, what I've done in the past, like when my little one was, when my first was born, is if I knew that she was going to drink the bottle within 2 hours, I would make it up hot, because they will cool down within that 2 hours. So I'd make it up hot and take it out with me, so that's something I've done as well. Now obviously, when you speak to a health visitor or when you talk to like a professional, look on the website, they're not going to tell you to do that. So just bear that in mind, but I would highly recommend doing your own research, and at the end of the day, guys, you know what's best for your little one. Anyway, I hope that was helpful. It is a little bit confusing, especially if you've never bottle fed and you are a new parent, but I didn't want to like make up feeds and things. Oh dear! Because then I'm just wasting baby milk, But that's everything that I do. I literally sterilise her bottles as you would. Everything comes with instructions, So whenever you buy your equipment, it'll all come with instructions. So you just sterilise your bottles like you normally would, whichever way you've chosen to sterilise. Like we use the microwave version. And then you just need to add however many ounces you need. Always put the powder in first and then the hot water. And like with the prep machine, put the powder in first, because then when it gives the hot shot, that's what's going to sterilise and kill those bacteria in the powder. So put the powder in first, not the water. But other than that, I mean, it's pretty much something you kind of learn as you go along. But there are a few different methods of doing things. But like tried and true for me, having like the Rapid Cool has been absolutely amazing. It's a really, really cool thing, and I will link it down below if you would like to get your hands on it. I highly recommend it. But yeah, obviously, like when my first little one was born, we didn't have a Rapid Cool, or if we did, I didn't have any clue about it. And like there wasn't a prep machine, and doing things the old-fashioned way. Basically, the only way to keep up with it, I found, if you haven't got a prep machine, and you're using like the old-fashioned method, like the way they tell you to do it on the NHS website, basically, is then what you need to do is kind of anticipate when your baby's due a feed and try and make it a little bit before, because they don't wait, and the last thing you want at 2 o'clock in the morning is a screaming little one. And now I think the official advice is to do, sorry for the bouncing, but is to do it like they say on the website, to leave the kettle like cool down for like half an hour and then make up the bottle, which I'm sorry, no one in their right mind is going to do that at 3 a.m. It's just not going to happen. And then they say then for nights to have like ready-made formula. But if you do that, then you're going to be spending a lot of money, because it's not cheap. I really do think the baby products are extremely overpriced for what they are. And to make it versus selling like many things is probably very, very, there's a big difference. But I highly recommend the prep machine, because then you can just make it up and it's quick. And like, even if you didn't want to get a prep machine, because they're not cheap, which I highly recommend getting is second hand. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Mine is second hand. And she's completely fine. So, don't worry about stuff like that. Seriously, there's no need to like buy everything brand new. Babies don't care. As long as it's clean, as long as it serves its purpose, that's all that matters. Say now you didn't want to get a prep machine and you've done your research and you decide not to, then the Rapid Cool I highly recommend, because you can use that for your night feeds as well. You don't just have to use it when you're out. You can take it up to bed with you, which is what I've done, rather than taking like the full prep machine up or coming down to make a bottle at like 3 a.m. Well, obviously she's older now, but when she was a newborn and they feed in the night a couple of times, I would just take up the Rapid Cool with me. And also what you could do is put, like, if you know you're only going to be out for one feed, rather than having to take like a container of milk and all these different things, you can just put your formula feed, so the amount of ounces that you need, straight into the Rapid Cool. And then you can stick your hot water straight on top of that, and it saves you a little bit of space in your changing bag. So that's something else that I've done as well. But yeah, I would highly recommend, obviously healthcare professionals, they have to tell you, it's their job to give you the information that is like correct by the standards, the legislation then, you know. But I would highly recommend, if you are a new parent, talking to other parents, and they're going to give you their honest advice, hopefully, and be able to, you know, give you the information you need to make your life a little bit easier. But yeah, that's exactly what I would do. I've made, like, even with having a prep machine, I've made like a hot bottle and taken it upstairs to me. As long as they have it within 2 hours, it's completely fine, guys. But obviously, do your own research. But I will leave all of the links to everything that I've spoken about today down in the description if you guys are interested. But anyways, guys, I really hope this was helpful. I hope it gave you some like advice on how to do it if you're out and about, because I know that's a question that I definitely wanted to know about when I had my first, you know. I'm just like an everyday mum, and that's exactly what I would do for this little one, and it's what I've done for the other two as well. So anyway, I'm gonna go and sort this little one out. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it was helpful, and hopefully I will see you in my next one. Bye.